today's Decay, celebrating births and beginnings of everything important since the dawn of time. September 15th edition. In the year 1888, today, one Hannah Ravina was born. Hannah Ravina, I would like to read a biography on her. I don't know if such a thing exists. Here's the story though. Once upon a time, my great aunt and uncle, Claire and Irving Zuckerman, took me to the Jewish Museum to see a exhibit of Marc Chagall artwork, his stage production designs, and it wound up becoming like all about Jewish Russian Habima theater in like 1920, if not even earlier. And it was so good, and like, what was any of this about? Because like none of it exists. It's no films, it's just live theater from 100 plus years ago. And it all looks like Camerata Caligari, but it's Jewish, Russian, and like at the same time. So is it to say that one's influencing the other? Yeah, I don't know. They're you know, neck and neck. What's the point? How ethereal? Like, what was all this? I had no idea. Totally transfixed. I think about it a lot. And thankfully, there was a book on the subject. And they did this like Midnight in the Fish Market story, which was about these like dead, rotting corpses that like crawled their way out of the ground to attend a wedding of two corpses. And they picked a fish market because the smell was going to be so difficult that it would cover up the stench of their own rotting bodies. And there was like illustrations and photos of like, you know, the show. And they did lots of other things. The Golem, I think most of it was like based in Jewish mysticism, but not all of it. A lot of it was also like socio-political commentary. And the one of, if not the, like most hypnotic creatures in these performances 100 years ago was one Hannah Ravina, who played the lead character in the Dybbuk. That was like a almost exorcist type story about this couple, and they loved each other, and the lady's family and like community didn't want her to be with him, and he winds up dying, and his spirit winds up living in her body, and then the townsfolk wind up trying to do like this exorcism to like get him out of her, but she doesn't want that to happen. Meanwhile, the whole thing looks like utterly proto-goth. Not suggesting she's the first goth, because that's a really hard thing to do, and what are these terms? But it's just like a, you know, dark, tragic, and yet also modern and empowered character? Yes. The answer is yes. So, this is not going to do it justice. But here is the book I'm talking about. And here is a still from the stage play, if you could make that out. And like all the makeup and everything in this in these productions is just so good. Yeah, it looks like the way we define like German expressionist filmmaking to be like, and yet it is in Russia in 1910. Here's the Midnight in the Fish Market thing I was talking about, with all the dead bodies. Look at this. That's all the like Marc Chagall's like, you know, drawings of what they should look like, and then they like styled it accordingly. I couldn't quickly find a really, there's like a couple of really striking Hannah Ravina Dybbuk photos out there, and then she winds up, but I couldn't find them quickly in here. So either use your imagination or use this device in your hands. If you suspect you need to know more, use the device. Suspect device. That was a long shot. She winds up she winds up continuing as an actress for like 50 years or something crazy like that. Habima Theater winds up continuing from Russia post World War II into Israel, and she winds up being like a pillar of the stage in Israel in like the 50s and maybe 60s. I saw some really great photos of her, again, looking like transcendental, as an older lady, like in the mid-century or so. I forget if she's doing Shakespeare or what, but it's really good. Hannah Ravina. Do check her out. Faye Ray, born today, 1907. Half thought about doing this from the Empire State Building, where she spent the majority of her life, because the people who built the Empire State Building offered her an apartment to live in, I think for free, but I don't know. Don't quote me. But she definitely lived in the Empire State Building for many, many, many years. And she's such a scream queen. This is not just somebody who had a passing fling with a fantasy horror sci-fi film, the likes of which she starred opposite King Kong. Those are some big shoes to fill. But also starred in The Vampire Bat, opposite Dwight Fry and Lionel Atwill. She starred opposite Lionel Atwill again in Dr. X and Mystery of the Wax Museum. She starred who was she with? Leslie something. I'm forgetting his last name. The Most Dangerous Game, anyways, which was filmed at night on the same sets as King Kong. So somehow these actors and actresses, I think Jack Holt, is he in there as well? Maybe. They filmed The Most Dangerous Game at night, where they filmed the King Kong scenes during the day, much like they did the Spanish language Dracula at night. The difference is the Spanish language Dracula had an entirely different cast and crew. Somehow, some way, Faye Ray was working maybe 24 hours a day between both films, during the day, during the night. Or maybe they scheduled it so that it was her scenes didn't have to be shot one after another, but all the more reason for workers' rights, right? Yeah, as the actors' strike continues here in 2023. Yeah. What else? Vern Langdon, born today, 1941, who lived a million lives, I feel like, between tiki culture, monster mask culture. His zombie mask is iconic, right? Oh man, I have his tiki mug over there. Next time. I'll get him next time. That would have been a stroke of genius, I say. Yeah. But I did bring. So he also shall always be a musician, and here's two of the records he's responsible for. Phantom of the Organ, really great stuff, and The Vampire at the Harpsichord, also really great stuff. Love this artwork, love his music, love his masks, love everything Vern Langdon has contributed to the universe. That's a lot, and it's all great stuff. Equally, Doyle from the Misfits, born today, 1954. Nope, 64. 64. I almost aged him. I'm glad I didn't. Doyle, born today, Misfits. Christ the Conqueror? Have I ever listened to that? I feel like it's been a punchline for so long, and yet I don't think I've ever listened to it. I am a card-carrying Doyle fan club member. Let me find it. Here we go. Doyle fan club member right here. Cyclopean music. I don't know why this isn't in my wallet, in case I get hit by a car. The EMS people are going to need this, right? Yeah. I should probably fix that for later. And since we're running around the apartment, let's take a look at that Vern Landon zombie. There you go, Vern Landon zombie. This is his tiki mug, because this is based off the mask he made in the 60s. And he's got a whole line now. Merchandising. So there you go. That's the whole day. September 15th. From me to you. I'm not going to double fist it. Till tomorrow. Goodbye.